Hello, folks. Welcome to the Barbecue Network. Shabbat Shalom. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Um, as Fox has now been purchased by Disney, I want to review some movies by Fox that probably won't ever get made no more because of Disney owning Fox and etc. Um, but this is the movie I'm going to talk about: The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. It stars what might be familiar to some people as Andrew Dice Clay, relatively famous person in the 80s and 90s. He's in A Star is Born as Andrew Dice Clay, I believe, or maybe just Andrew Clay at this point. He am not really playing this character all that much. Because that's basically what this character is. It's a character that he plays, He's uh, it's a very much meta type movie. Things happen in it that then are retconned in the plot with a couple sentences, or all of a sudden, they have a pet koala bear that this guy's a rock and roll detective. People can't pay him the bills all the time, so sometimes they pay them in gifts. So the famous Australian rock group In Excess pay him in a koala bear. He gets a pet koala bear. So at one point in the movie, you don't think the koala bear is around anymore, and then final scene of the movie, I don't know if you all can see it, is them hanging out with this animatronic koala bear right there. So I think the way that they do the koala bear is good. I don't like what happens to it or what you assume happens to it, but then the fact that the koala bear is alive at the end, and the movie is all, despite some pretty physical beatings that this woman takes and a lot of Me Too stuff going on with the Lauren Holly character, it's a pretty light movie. Gilbert Gottfried is in the film. I think he does a really effective job as playing this DJ that Andrew Dice Clay knew years earlier. Andrew Dice Clay was a really famous comedian in this era. I'm sure there was other projects he could have probably, had as his favorite starring vehicle. This is based on characters created by someone I know named Rex Weiner. And he's still interested. He actually made a new book of the Adventures of Fairlane, and there were some good things he liked about the way that the movie was adapted from his work, and some things he didn't. Morris Day, from Morris Day and the Time, is in this film. Priscilla Presley, Wayne Newton, the man who played Freddy Krueger in the most films, Robert Englund, and Al Bundy himself, Ed O'Neill, is in the film. Of course, Lauren Holly, and a lot of other cameos and things mentioned in the movie. It was released in 1990. It did very poor at the box office, but it launched Rennie Harlin's career. From this movie, he then made Die Hard 2, and then he made Cliffhanger. He'd had different flops all through that time. Cutthroat Island and Long Kiss Goodnight was an underperformer as well. But yeah, Rennie Harlin's one of my favorite directors. The time you're watching this movie and you're just like, what? What did I just see? What did I just hear? What was that? But if you just go with it, and everything that's kind of over the top in it isn't to be taken for serious. It's just basically a lot of pushing the audience's buttons, going really far with some stuff, but not all the way. It is an R-rated movie, obviously, and there is some really horrible language in this film and jokes. Stuff you hear and you're like, oh no. Yeah, you hear that quite a lot in this film. We're literally embarrassed. I'd say 10 or 15 times I was embarrassed and I wanted to stop watching, but it's just, you just kind of keep watching this. This is a real train wreck. I like it, but it's a real train wreck. It's an action comedy that subverts a lot of the tropes and comments on doing it. So, in terms of that, I guess it's kind of like a Last Action Hero or something like that. Seeing him do the stunts itself is a unique venture because he's clearly not. I mean, he's just a big dude. He's not really like an athlete or anything like that. Um, so I really do enjoy this film. In fact, I might put it on with the commentary by Rennie Harlan. I'm remiss that I didn't realize that it had one. And that sounds very entertaining. Uh, the girl that plays Zuzu Petals in it, I've never really seen her in any other movies. I think that's kind of weird. But anyway, it kind of fits with her character, I guess. But Wayne Newton, he's pretty much the bad guy in the film. Runs a record studio. Um, there's a band, a heavy metal band in the beginning of it called Black Plague. And the singer of that is killed. So there's a lot of crimes going on in this film, and they all. What I like about it is it is a good story. You know, I mean, all the stuff going on, it's a little nonsensical and over the top at times, but the story itself and some of the stuff that comes across, it kind of reminds me of an Inspector Gadget type deal, as in the Lauren Holly character is smarter than her boss. You know, sort of like Penny was smarter than Inspector Gadget. One other thing I want to point out is Brandon Call, who I didn't think I mentioned in the Blind Fury video, but Brandon Call played the little boy in Blind Fury. And he's also in this film. So, fresh after making Blind Fury, I believe he then made Ford Fairlane. So, both movies where he doesn't really have proper parenting and he's looking towards the hero for guidance. I thought that was kind of weird. Then he goes on to being, in a sitcom in the 90s and all that. But overall, I mean, if you've never seen Ford Fairlane or never heard of it, it's definitely worth checking out because it's pretty outrageous. I mean, I don't think you can make a movie like that nowadays. Especially Disney won't be making this anytime soon. A remake of Ford Fairlane? Nah. This is a one-timer, and maybe better that it stayed that way. It would have been cool to see a sequel to this, though, as out it is. Definitely check out Ford Fairlane and check out the rest of Rennie Harlan's movies. I've already reviewed Cliffhanger here. I'll try to review Die Hard 2 and Long Kiss Goodnight. I own Long Kiss Goodnight, but not Die Hard 2, so I'll try to get Long Kiss Goodnight review done soon. Daniel Waters, who wrote the Heathers movie, he actually wrote the screenplay along with two other individuals. But yeah, I mean, Joel Silver produced this. It's an action comedy. I guess if you know what you're going to be seeing going into it, it's kind of like a Roadhouse. It's kind of like Roadhouse movie came out the year before, but even more nonsense in it, more excess, and more profanity and jokes that don't work. So if you like that and you want to see an extreme, strange, early 90s action movie with Priscilla Presley in it, go ahead and check out Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Andrew Dice Clay, obviously, he is in Blue Jasmine, a Woody Allen movie in recent years, and he was in a lot of other early 80s comedies such as Private Resort and others. But this is the only starring role for Andrew Dice Clay as far as I know. So go ahead and check this out and let me know what you think. Bye for now.